Meeting to order. And we have a lot of folks tonight, so if you could refrain from talking to each other, that would help us all hear each other. We have a very small council chambers, and when the air conditioner is on, it's hard to hear, and then the fans running make it difficult also. So welcome, everyone. The next item is roll call.
Councilmember Pratt.
Here.
Councilmember Dowling. Here. Councilmember Linsky.
Here.
Councilmember Howergy.
Here.
Councilmember Garrison.
Present.
Vice Mayor Pfeiffer.
Here.
Mayor Jones.
Here. I think our microphones are working better.
He's got speakers.
Extra speakers.
Thank you. All right, that's great. Okay, the next item is the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have a Cottonwood Youth Advisory Commission member, Parker Kleck, who is here to lead the pledge. And Parker, this is your opportunity to share a little bit of information about yourself.
Okay, well, this is going to be my 4th year on the commission, and I'm a junior at American Heritage. And this week we will have our first meeting, and we're going to discuss wrapping up the last year's movie theater project, as well as interviewing for new candidates.
Okay, thank you. So would everyone stand, please?
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you'd like to come up, Parker, the council has a certificate for you. So on behalf of the City Council, I'd like to present this appreciation certificate for your good citizenship. Not only do you on the youth commission. Okay, the next item is brief summary of current events by the mayor, city council, and/or city manager. The public body does not propose, discuss, deliberate, or take legal action on any matter brought up during the summary unless the specific matter is properly noticed for legal action. City manager?
Madam Mayor, the only item I have, keep it quick tonight, is Rhythm and Ribs is this weekend, starting Friday night and going into Saturday night. So those who are interested in good barbecue, craft beer, and good country western music, it's a place to be. Kids Park.
All right, great. We have quite a few events coming up in the next couple of months for our community members. Okay, so council? Anything? Mr. Elinsky?
So I just wanted to update folks on the Cottonwood Historic Home Tour. We're doing a home tour November 8th in conjunction with Walking on Main. And the benefits for the tour are going to go to the preservation and restoration effort at the Civic Center here in Old Town. And we're still looking for volunteers and anyone who owns a historic home here in Cottonwood, Fred Piper, who would like to have your tour, your home on the tour, please contact me at, I guess I give my cell phone number, 300-8148. You can get on the city's website, go to the Historic Preservation Commission site as well, and contact me through there. But we're looking for a couple more residential homes to be on the tour. And I hope everyone here in the audience can attend the event. Again, November 8th, 11 to 5. Thanks.
Sounds like a lot of fun and very interesting also.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah. Okay, so Mr. Piper, you're pointing at the speaker.
I hope you turn the speaker on so I can hear it.
It is on. It's louder than it's ever been in my whole life. All right, in this chambers anyway. Okay, so I attended the Teen Center ribbon cutting, and Councilmember Pratt was there, and Vice Mayor Pfeiffer was there. Anybody else? And it was excellent. As you know, our city clerk did a lot of work to bring the Teen Center to fruition. So we really appreciate her, and I would like to have just a thank you from the council in an upcoming meeting for our city clerk and others who have been key members of the Teen Center. I volunteered Friday at the Teen Center from 3 to 9, and it was a lot of fun. We actually had a lot of kids coming in, and one young man came up to me and he said, "This is the bomb." Now, if you know teen language, the bomb means it's pretty cool. It took me a while to learn that, but when he said it, I knew what it meant. And he said, and yes, I get to, be away from home and I have somewhere to go. And so I think that is for a lot of teens. There were snacks and things. They really liked the food. They liked the snack part of it. But they played pool, they played ping pong, and there's air hockey, and there are 3 computers that were provided by the Cottonwood Computer, or the Verde Valley Computer Club, and those got a lot of use. So I think we're on the right track. If anyone would like to volunteer, please let us know, because we need some volunteers to help out. Okay. There's a big Kids Against Hunger event that's coming up. I believe it's October 11th. Let me check on my phone here for sure.
Oh.
Yes, Kids Against Hunger is going to be Saturday, October 11th at the Verde Valley Fairgrounds. And so they need people to help pack food, and there will be notices in the paper, I'm sure. They also need donations. And for this packing, some of the food goes to children in Haiti that are really desperately hungry and starving. And then, for this packing, 50% of it is going to go to local children, and they have found a new mac and cheese recipe for the local kids that's pretty good, I guess. So if you can help with that, that would be great. I had an interview with Kitty Roberts of NACOG, and we were reviewing Jason Valencia, and as most of the council, I think you have met Jason, and if you need his assistance for anything, please let us know. But he's doing a great job, and he's working on his master's degree in public administration, and his goal is to be a city manager someday. So he's been a great help to us. The Kids at Hope Steering Committee met this past week, and we're going to have a great big event. Antoine Fisher will be at this event, as well as Rick Miller of Kids at Hope. This will be this Saturday at the Mingus Union High School auditorium, and we'd like to fill the whole auditorium. But it's going to be an exciting talk, and what this is all about is, you've probably heard the term kids at risk. And now we're talking about a new way to think about this. And that way is Kids at Hope. And it's the belief that every child can succeed without exception. So that will be from 3:30 to 5. Then at 6 p.m. they'll be going over to Rhythm and Ribs, and they'll have a table there where the public can meet with them. And I'd like to thank Chief Fanning, who has been a part of this group and also realizes the importance of the whole community participating. It's not just our schools that can make a difference. It's your city council, it's your schools, it's your community members, your businesses. We're all in this together to make a better life for our children. The farmers market is still going strong. It's every Thursday right behind City Hall through October 2nd. I'll be attending a week from this Thursday, 2 days at the Governor's Council on Aging. And I was recently, in the past month, appointed or asked to serve on the Verde River Valley Nature Organization, or VRVNO board. And we're having our retreat tomorrow and Thursday. And we'll be working on a strategic plan. That's the group that puts on the Cottonwood Verde Valley Birding Festival. And they do a lot of other things for the community. And part of my report also is talking about a recent recognition that I received from the Hospice of the Pines. And we have Beth Funk with us today, who is the administrator of the program, and Julie Keeney, who actually did the interview and wrote the article for the newspaper. And I just wanted everybody, I wanted to let council know that tonight my husband, we still get the Manila Times. And he said, oh, your story's in the Manila Times. And this is, we've gotten this paper for 28 years since we moved from Manila, Iowa. But I was just so tickled to see that, and it did, of course, mention the Verde Independent, because the Verde Independent is where the article originated, and Julie writes for them. So Julie and Beth, did you want to share a few words?
Thank you. Yes, we are here this evening to celebrate our hometown hero of the month. Hospice of the Pines always selects someone in the community to elect them as our hometown hero, and of course the month of July was Diane Jones. And for her dedication to our community, but more so for her support for our senior citizens. Diane believes in her heart that she has a lot of love to reach out to our community and to expand her love into her beliefs. Diane realizes that as our seniors age, that often they are alone and may live a long distance from their families. Therefore, we believe that we have to rely on hospice and other agencies to help our seniors, to help keep our senior residents in their home longer.
When I interviewed Diane, I asked her what inspires you. Her response was, the people I serve. The citizens of the Verde Valley and all communities coming together and supporting our region and working with other mayors in the surrounding towns. There is so much that needs to be done, the mayor said. And her best accomplishments are the supports of the Senior Center, Meals on Wheels, and the Verde Valley Caregivers.
So please join us in celebrating and congratulating our Mayor of Cottonwood, Mrs. Diane Jones, on the wonderful job she has done, her commitment to all of our citizens and seniors, and for the future visions of quality lives for our seniors.
Restrooms over on the corner,
It got really,
behind City Hall there.
just, yeah, it was too much last time. It was color pain again this time.
One more, please.
Outside.
Thank you so much for all your work. Thank you for all you. Let's keep doing it. Yes.
We usually don't send them over first.
And that concludes my report to the council for this meeting. Moving on to the next item is introduction of new employees.
Good afternoon or evening, Madam Mayor, council members. It's my pleasure tonight, Michelle, would you step up here, please, to introduce one of my newest communications specialists, Michelle Ann Etzedy. And Michelle, would you go ahead and introduce yourself in your native tongue?
Yate, she Michelle Etzedy in share, Glaziflan and Push in share, Hanagat Bushes Chin, Tkabahan da Shanala, Bibatkorni da Shache, Beshage da Shuan.
As you can tell, Michelle is a Navajo, born and raised here in Page, Arizona. She was married in 1987, has two daughters, 26-year-old and 24-year-old. She is blessed with two grandkids, and one on the way, due in January. This is an interesting part. Michelle is happily divorced. Michelle has lived in numerous places such as Georgia, Oklahoma, Utah, Nevada, California, Arizona. She has lived in the Verde Valley since 1996 and made this area her home. She loves it here. She has had horses before and loved them, and now has two mini dachshunds. That's a little change in size. But She enjoys spending time with her kids and her grandkids, being outdoors, kayaking, boating, hiking, and walking. Michelle has worked in several areas in Sedona and Cottonwood. She has worked as a banker, administrative assistant, medical biller, customer service, and now is very happy and thankful to be working for the Cottonwood Police Department as a communications specialist. She is thrilled to be part of the Cottonwood PD and City of Cottonwood family, and so far loves her job. I hope someday she will get to use her other skill of speaking Navajo, but we don't get a lot of Navajo speakers down here, but if we ever do, we know we have somebody that can do it. So,
excellent.
welcome, Michelle.
It's great to have bilingual employees. So, Jody, do you still have a camera?
Welcome.
No, Madam Mayor.
Welcome. Here, let me, I'll do this
Here,
one.
I'll do it. Because I want you to do it.
Oh.
Hang on, they're going to want a picture now that you did that.
Welcome, Michelle. Okay, one more. So we don't have our eyes closed. All right.
Okay, thank you.
She's had a long day, so she gets to go home now. That is all from the police department, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the great employees you're bringing online to serve our citizens. Okay, the next item is proclamations, and we have two. The first is proclaiming the week of September 22nd through 26th, 2014 as National Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve Week. We all know how important it is to support our Guard, our National Guard, and many of them have been fighting for our country and our freedom in the battles in Iraq and Afghanistan. Is there someone here to accept this tonight? Okay, so we'll just go ahead and read it. Whereas National Guard and Reserve forces comprise nearly half of our nation's military strength and are essential to America's national security. Reserve component forces stand ready to answer the call to serve, whether serving alongside active duty counterparts all across the globe or responding to humanitarian crises at home and abroad. And whereas employers provide critical support to members of the National Guard and Reserve, allowing citizen warriors to serve whenever the nation calls, often foregoing financial gain and making sacrifices in the process. And whereas employer support is stronger than ever, more than 41 years after President Richard Nixon authorized the Secretary of Defense to establish the National Committee for Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, also known by the acronym of ESGR. And whereas our nation is in debt to the citizen warriors departing the comforts of home to ensure our freedoms remain intact. Likewise, America pays special tribute to the commitment of dedicated and supportive employers who continue to make service in the reserve components possible. And now, therefore, I, Diane Jones, Mayor of the City of Cottonwood, Arizona, do hereby proclaim September 22nd through 26th, 2014, as National Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve Week. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand on the second day of September 2014. Our next proclamation is proclaiming September 8th through 14th, 2014 as National Patriotism Week. And do we have anyone to accept this today? Okay. If you would like to come up and share a little bit of information.
Hi, my name is Sari McQuality. I'm a past president of the Drome Elks Lodge. I would like to introduce our current president, Janet Lord. We are here today to honor our first responders and our veterans. We'd like everyone to support them and keep them in our prayers. And thank you so much for having us today.
You're welcome. So we'll go ahead and read the proclamation, and then we can come up here and have it presented. Whereas the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, through its constitution, is a patriotic order, and whereas the order promotes the ideals that citizens of this nation live in freedom, won through the great sacrifices and many tribulations which have provided the foundation for a free, prosperous, and independent life. And whereas we realize that each generation must work to maintain this freedom, otherwise, through carelessness or indifference, the rights and liberties enjoyed may vanish. And whereas it is fitting and proper to recognize this freedom and to honor the nation which provides it. Now, therefore, I, Diane Jones, Mayor of the City of Cottonwood, Arizona, on behalf of the Cottonwood City Council, do hereby proclaim September 8th through 14th, 2014, as National Patriotism Week in Cottonwood, and encourage all citizens to join with the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks in expressing gratitude for the privilege of American citizenship with appropriate celebrations and observances. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand the 2nd day of September 2014. And I would just like to thank you both. I know that you and others working with you do so much for the community, for patriotism, and for our youth. And that a great focus of the Elks is on our youth. And for that, we are very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
So on behalf of the City Council, I'd like to present this to the Benevolent Order, Protective Order of the Elks.
Okay, take one more. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, next we have presentations. We have a presentation by Julie Larson and Ruth Wicks regarding forming a Yavapai College independent campus for the Verde Valley Community College.
What a pleasure it is to be here in the council chambers again. I'm Julie Larson, and I'm the retired superintendent, I say the old superintendent, of Cottonwood Oak Creek School District. And I have been asked to discuss with you tonight my feelings about an administrative community college under Yavapai College. When I came to Cottonwood as principal of Dr. Daniel Bright in 1990, I became quickly aware of the presence of Yavapai Community College. I quickly noticed the number of classified employees who were attending college while working full-time for the Cottonwood Oak Creek School District. I was honored to hire these graduates of NAU who were able to complete their education while taking classes in the afternoon, evening, and summer. These employees have made an incredible impact on our district and have provided their families with a stable, although not rich, income. Some have gone on to earn Teacher of the Year. One is a principal. Another is the district superintendent. And I believe one is sitting amongst you as a council member. Those were the great days in the 1990s when locals could work full-time while taking classes at Yavapai, who worked cooperatively with NAU. Todd Jacobs, a teacher at Cottonwood Middle School, even brags that he never set foot on the NAU campus, which he thinks is a milestone. When I retired in 2007, Ruth Wicks asked me to become a member of the Yavapai College Foundation, the Greater Verde Valley chapter. I was excited to learn more about the college and actually wanted to really work and thank them for their efforts in our community. The sad fact is, in the last 7 years, I have observed that the college has not expanded its impact, but has withdrawn so much of what it used to offer. I truly believe that Yavapai College on the Prescott campus is outstanding. My daughter attended there, making use of the dormitories before going on and graduating from NAU. I hold nothing against what they have accomplished. I just feel that the Verde Valley needs a community college that is central and responsive to our needs. We have so many young adults who need to complete their education. They work in our restaurants, in our stores, at our golf courses. The classes need to be offered around their working schedule. These people cannot be expected to drive to Prescott after working a full day to take classes. It's just too long and, frankly, too dangerous. We want in the Verde Valley what Prescott has, a community college that is vibrant and focused on this community. Ruth?
My name is Ruth Wicks, and I'm a retired educator. It's an honor to be here, all of you. I often watch you on television. You know then how bad television must be. Anyway, it's an honor to be here. Well, anyway. We're here, and we wish to share our vision of what the Verde Valley Community College, an independent administrative campus, with you tonight, so that you may begin to understand what its formation may cause, which is rectifying the limited educational opportunities that we are experiencing now in the Verde Valley. You have been given a small booklet, Why an Administrative Community College for the Verde Valley Makes Common Sense. Opening, you see that the topics of the past history of the college is there, a quick summary of the present Yavapai College Capital 10-year plan, and other issues are reviewed. Turn now to page 9, which lists 14 points which are key to this management style that we are asking our 5 governing board members to consider and act upon. Many are aware that the college is presently making great efforts in the areas of increasing communication by setting 2 advisory committees up. One will assist Dean Perry, the other will work directly with the district governing board. We applaud this effort, but as the years go by, will this focus be lost by the next administration of the college? We need a constant voice and focus for our Verde Valley post-secondary educational needs, which include career and technology programs. We need a Verde Valley president that would be shielded from being fired by the community college president. The Verde Valley president would answer directly to the district governing board and/or the chancellor, just as the Prescott area president would. This would equalize the present extreme political influence of Prescott citizenry and Yavapai College's foundation, as the needs of our communities here would have a champion. This independent administrative college is allowed by Arizona law. We have seen Maricopa Community College create 10 independent administrative colleges, such as Scottsdale, Mesa, Rio Salado, and it goes on. A separate Verde Valley Administrative Community College headed by a president and staff fully committed to the Verde Valley and its citizens is what we are asking for. We have created a website. I did the sign. You can tell it's not done very well. Hoping that increasing understanding of the issues will help all see clearly the vision of our Verde Valley Community College, which will serve the entire valley. This is an historic step to improve what we have now and make it better. I thank you for your time. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer any of them, though I know your agenda is very full tonight, and we'd be happy to come back at another time.
If you could share what the website is for the television audience.
Okay.
Probably read it.
It's www.iyanyavapai.college.com. Okay.
You left out one W.
On Yavapai College, it's all spelled out.
Yeah, that's
full
right.
words.
www.iyanyavapaicollege.com. Thank you,
Okay.
Diane.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Hold on.
Thank
So-
you for
so
Mr. Howdigi?
The phone number in the back, that's a contact number for you?
Yes.
or- Okay.
It is.
And
if you got a first edition, the second edition, I was hoping that the board, did you get a second edition?
Yes.
Okay.
I got a first.
Oh, you got a first? There's some second editions, and they have more information with the website on it and a mailing address, Ruben.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so if
that's-
someone would like one of these pamphlets.
All they have
how
to
do
do is go to the website, and we'll zip it to them.
Okay, so you
Okay.
on the website, on Yavapai College,
Yes.
one word.
That's
all
right.
spelled out, .com.
Right.
Okay, is the I a letter I or
EYE.
is it
EYE. Karen, thank you
That's
for asking.
important.
Thanks for your
Okay,
time.
thank you very much. Okay, the next item is call to the public. This portion of the agenda is set aside for the public to address the council regarding an item that is not listed on the agenda for discussion. However, the council cannot engage in discussion regarding any item that is not officially listed on the agenda for discussion and/or action per ARS 38-431-02H. Comments are limited to a 5-minute time period. So has anybody filled out one that is not on the agenda? I think all of these are on the agenda. Is there anyone who wishes to speak that hasn't filled out a form? We can fill it out later. Okay. We'll close the floor to the public and move on to the next item. Approval of the minutes. Special meeting of July 8th, 2014, regular meeting of August 5th, 2014, and work session of August 12th, 2014. Any comments?
I would move to approve as presented.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Garrison made the motion, the Vice Mayor seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, comments regarding items listed on the agenda are limited to a 5-minute time period per speaker. Does everyone who wishes to speak need 5 minutes? Or would you prefer 3 minutes? Doesn't matter. 3? Okay, Dr. Bob says 5, so you want to stick with 5? Okay, we'll leave it at 5. Okay, so unfinished business. Final review and approval of the city's new branding logo, tagline, and strategy. So we have Mr. Casey Rooney to make the presentation, and he has also brought some other folks to include in his presentation.
Don't want to trip over the camera.
Yes. As everybody knows, we postponed building a new city hall, but as you can see, it is something that is needed, something that will seat more folks someday.
Thanks. Okay.
Let me know when you want water. I'll make a pass.
Madam Mayor, City Council, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today, and I also want to thank the citizens of Cottonwood for coming out and giving all of us their ideas on our new branding strategy. I do have a PowerPoint presentation. I just got to figure out how this thing comes up. Let's see. Okay, here we go.
Can you scoot down over there by the screen so I can
If
see?
everyone could, please not visit while the presentations, let's be respectful of those trying to present. If you plan to speak, we'll be able to hear you also.
I'm going to start out with a short video. It's a 4.5-minute video. This is Cottonwood. Some of you probably have seen it, but I want to make sure your audience on the camera can also see it. Oops.
So I think that Casey,
yeah,
that needs to be moved because it's in front of his television camera. I would
This tripod here.
the tripod with the
Maddie,
logo
I
on
how to
it.
get the volume up on this. There's no speakers. Great.
There's no speakers?
No, I didn't know they were playing the videos.
Well,
You can
let's
put
just
the
plug them in
microphone by
from
the-
now on, just in case.
Year-round. And right in the center of it all is
I'm not sure where the volume is on this.
Maybe just right there behind you, Doug?
Should be at the bottom of the screen.
Well, it's unfortunate you won't be able to hear the sound of this video.
Can you go up and help him turn it up? You know how to do that.
I thought we'd have music there, the sound here today, so.
Hang on just a second. We're going to see if we can get it turned up and you can use the speaker. Oh, wonderful.
concert venue with performances, theater, and more. Whether you're looking for class entertainment, or just a place to sit back and relax, Cottonwood is the place to be.
I just put the microphone down by the.
It'll take too long to set it up. The Wi-Fi's right there.
Matt, how far away are the speakers? Like right next door?
No, there's a bunch of wires so that.
Oh, okay. That's not. You can't just plug it into the computer.
Yeah, I think you have to have Bluetooth for that.
Yeah, you have to have Bluetooth to be able to do that, and our computers are pretty old.
Okay, well, I think we could probably hear it based on, not very well. Oh, we got to speak. I'm just going to try to go ahead and start without the video, and I'll come back to the video. And I put together a press release that I was going to release to the Arizona Republic, but I didn't want to do it until I've been, rolling it over in my mind. And of course, I don't want to do it until we've concluded and come up with the right logo and everything. But I want to share this information with you. As you know, we have not kept anything quiet from the public. All of these proceedings, this is my 4th time up here, that it's been broadcast on the media, in the newspapers, and this is not my brand, this is the brand of a committee. The City of Cottonwood took a historic step this month with the unveiling of its inaugural brand, a major investment on the heels of an economic downturn less than 5 years ago. Taking a year to complete, the effort focused on the city's presentation, building it as a premier destination to tourists, businesses, and residents alike. While the old city logo had served Cottonwood for over a decade, it wasn't aligning with the current growth in economic quality and effectively drawing in tourism like it should, representing what the city thought of itself years ago rather than how it is viewed by residents and visitors today. The advisory board was comprised of 12 members from various industries throughout the state, offering a wide array of perspectives and personalities relevant to Cottonwood's role in the state of Arizona. Heading the effort was a core panel of 5 City of Cottonwood leaders, Mayor Diane Jones, Casey Rooney, President of the Cottonwood Economic Development Council, Doug Bartosh, City Manager, Lana Tolleson, President and CEO of the Cottonwood Chamber, and Lindsay Higginson, who is the past president of the Old Town Association. Scott Havas, owner and creative director of Havas Design, was hired as the creative director and branding professional to lead the brand development, including the logo and identity design, as well as strategize the web architecture for the future city website. Since 2010, Cottonwood has seen major economic growth with the success of the wine industry, attracting many new visitors and creating jobs both within wine and other industries that support it. Old Town Cottonwood has become a huge draw, full of restaurants, boutique shops, and hotels. However, the city had yet to step forward and distinguish itself, often overshadowed by neighboring cities and stronger communities and with stronger communities and footholds in the tourism industry. The city took this initiative to improve, clarify, and simplify the message of Cottonwood to make it as easy as possible for people to take an interest in our town, whatever part of the audience they may be from, and invest in it as much as possible. The development of the brand guidelines alone took 8 months, involving the gathering, analysis, and summary of information to hone in on what truly set Cottonwood apart. Findings kept pointing to the wine industry, out of which was born the city's tagline, Cottonwood, Arizona, the heart of Arizona wine country. Only after the guidelines were established did any work on the logo begin, as it was entirely dependent on the core brand messages, which were unanimously passed by the City Council. The advisory board pointed out, however, that while the wine industry is a focal point of the branding, it is in no way stating that wine is the only attraction to Cottonwood. Cottonwood has a lot to offer, but we needed something to draw people's attention. As a part of history and culture throughout the world, the wine industry is a natural fit. Once people make the trip here, they are able to see the numerous attributes that the city has to offer. In addition to creating jobs across industries, with wine comes art, premier dining options, festivals, and a higher level of culture. This in turn brings a higher income tourist, which boosts the economy significantly and holistically. With its new brand and logo, the city is not only focusing on its present successes, but looking to the future as well. Our brand not only defines who we are, but far more importantly, who we will be 3 to 5 years as this brand fully integrates into its audience. The past year has covered phase 1, with future phases focusing on a creative campaign, new website, social media, advertising, and events, among other things.
Thanks, Matt.
Nestled between the Red Rocks of Sedona to the north and Weakest Mountain to the south lies Verde Valley. It's here you'll find state parks, historic sites, and enticing attractions that offer activities for all ages. Hailed as one of the top 10 places to visit on a lonely planet, Verde Valley sits comfortably above the heat of the desert with a moderate climate year-round. And right in the center of it all is Cottonwood. Hi, I'm Cindy Christie, your host for AC Culture TV. And we're going to take a look at one of Arizona's best getaway spots, a town called Cottonwood. Winner of the Governor's Tourism Award, Cottonwood is the perfect destination for vacations or a quick weekend escape. And with its distinctive historic district, there are plenty of things to do, see, and discover. Starting with the Old Town Center for the Arts at the base of 5th Street in Maine, this historic gem is also known as Arizona's premier concert venue with performances, theater, and more. Whether you're looking for world-class entertainment, exhilarating adventure, or just a place to sit back and relax, Cottonwood is the place to be. To spread the word about Cottonwood, we lined up a group of weekend adventurers to visit. But this wasn't just any visit, as they were all a part of our Cottonwood Culture Challenge.
So the Cottonwood Culture Challenge was a trip that we took a bus full of people up to Cottonwood to show them that Cottonwood has really changed. It's not something that they were from a decade ago, that it really has brought itself into a whole new era. I mean, now it's kind of the epicenter of wine tasting in Arizona. Once they got off the bus, we gave them a list of activities to do around town, because that's really one of the best ways to get to know a city. It's just by walking in through those unknown doors and seeing what's on the other side. So they had a chance to go explore. People were having so much fun. It was really the course of the day. They were like, oh my gosh, if I had known you were going to have so much fun, I would have invited so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And they were like, I haven't been here in a decade, and it's a completely different town. You could see them just get really excited about visiting someplace they knew nothing about. They thought they maybe had known something, but by the time they got there, like, oh my gosh, it is a brand new city.
After a day of exploring Cottonwood, the challenge participants were treated to a special wrap-up party hosted by the Old Town Center for the Arts. It was an evening of food, friendship, and fun, capped off with a world-class private concert. It all added up to a remarkable day that would provide memories for a lifetime. You can experience Cottonwood with your own culture challenge, starting with a visit to the main hub of activity, historic Old Town. As you stroll down Main Street, you'll find no shortage of great things to experience, from wine tasting rooms to beautiful lodging, boutiques, galleries, and antique stores. And if you get hungry, you're in luck. Here you'll find a delectable selection of diners and restaurants to suit your tastes. Make no mistake, Cottonwood is a foodie's paradise. And of course, music is everywhere. From the Old Town Center for the Arts, to the streets, to the vibrant nightlife, Old Town Cottonwood will keep you entertained from morning till night. So what is Cottonwood, and what does it have in store for the foodie, adventurer, and romantic in you? Well, it all depends on who you ask.
This is Cottonwood.
This is Cottonwood. This is Cottonwood. This is Cottonwood. Now this is Cottonwood. This is Cottonwood. This is Cottonwood. This is Cottonwood. This is Cottonwood.
This is Cottonwood.
I'm curious how many people have seen this video. Would raise your hand if you've seen it. Well, you're one of 5,300 and some people that have seen it so far. So I'm pretty proud that that many people have been viewing this video. And a lot of them are from outside of our community. So I just wanted to mention a few other things before we move on. We've gotten quite a few awards. We got the 2012 Governor's, I believe that was the Tourism Award. And we also were listed by Lonely Planet, which is a travel promotion organization, as one of the top 10 U.S. travel destinations for 2013. Now that is Cottonwood and the Verde Valley, including Sedona. 10 most exciting places in Arizona. This was just recent, and Mr. Garrison pointed this out to me the other day. The first one was Tempe. The second was Flagstaff. Third one was Tucson, and you can relate to that to the universities. And then the next one was Scottsdale, followed by Prescott, and then Cottonwood was number 6. I think that's pretty exciting myself.
Casey, when you're talking about the committee, Councilmember Garrison also served on the committee.
I was
Well-
kind of like an faction.
The original, when we first started working on it.
Right. I've got a list of the people that are on the committee.
Okay.
The big part of the reason for doing this branding study was the confusion around all the different messages we were sending and different logos. There wasn't like a consistent message throughout the city. So when we did our 5-year economic development strategy 5 years ago called Focus on Success, one of the issues was branding. It was one of our goals and objectives was to do branding and to brand the wine trail. So one thing led to another, from the wine trail to the city branding, and then we started looking at logos. And you know what? That's just a quick list that I put together today, but I'll bet there's another 6 or 7 other logos that confuse the people that come to our community about who we are. We wanted something consistent. You were asking who was on the committee. This is the committee. And you know, none of this was top secret. None of it was kept from the public. We came to meetings like this and we presented. This is my 4th time. The branding process, we selected a advisory board, tried to be inclusive of people inside of our community, but we also wanted to be inclusive of people that are our customers. So we have people. Matter of fact, I've got a couple people that are going to come out. There wasn't room for seating in here. They're going to talk about, some of them are from outside our community, some of them are from within the Verde Valley. The process included a comprehensive branding questionnaire directed and completed individually by each advisor. So we had a questionnaire. We came up with the first draft of the brand documents, created and reviewed by the group. We had final revisions to the brand document based on group feedback. Keep in mind, this went over a period of 8 months. Now we're 12 months into it. Presentation to City Council for approval to move forward. Logo and identity design. So we had, we had round 1 with the initial design, round 2, round 3. So that was the process. This is how much it cost. I've heard people come up with numbers. I don't know where they came up with them, but the city, out of my city economic development budget, was $3,850. We had Cottonwood Economic Development Council involved, the Old Town Association, and Arizona Public Service has been a big supporter. We came up with a lot of different logos. It's not like we just came up with this one logo that people have been focused on. We reviewed a lot of different logos. And I remember the last time we got together, I believe it was we showed the top left-hand corner logo, and we showed the bottom right-hand corner logos. And I remember Councilman Garrison saying, I don't like it. I'd prefer that you tried to circle it. And if I'm reading that wrong, tell me, but that's how I remember it. And so these are all, different logos that we took a look at. Before the last meeting, when I had direction to work on the bottom 2. So at that we showed those 2 logos, I believe, the last time we got together. And it was decided to focus on the one on the right.
And that was your direction from council?
Correct.
Can I say something really quick?
Yes.
First of all, I'm going to have to leave early because I have an incredible headache. I have a condition called cluster headache, so I want to speak now.
I'm sorry I gave you a headache.
No. Casey, believe me, this is a serious thing, and
Yeah.
when I get them, I'm just devastated, or almost decapitated.
Yeah.
First of all, I wasn't at that meeting. If I was, I would have said I liked the left one better, but I would have wanted it in the shape of a circle. I had to be at the college. I personally don't like this one, and I want to say this before I go because I don't find it aesthetically pleasing. Also, and I was going to save these comments till after, but I can't wait. You know, I've heard people say, well, a lot of cities have rivers, but not a lot of cities have one of the last free-flowing rivers in Arizona. A lot of people have said a lot of cities have cottonwoods, and I would argue that not a lot of cities have one of the most unique ecosystems across their river. We have what's called a willow and cottonwood forest gallery that is one of less than 20 in the whole world. So I hate to see a logo without the river and without the cottonwood, and I do apologize for having to leave, but that's where I stand, and thank you.
Well, I appreciate your thoughts. I know that there were the last two meetings, you weren't at those meetings, and this has been publicized and brought to the council the fourth time. Okay, thank you. I appreciate your perspective, Councilman.
Be well, Terrence. We're sorry you don't feel well.
What you see here is what is on this board over here. And we looked at consolidating and trying to bring many, many logos into a couple different logos. And so we had a Cottonwood Economic Development Council brand logo. And keep in mind that the logo is a part of the strategy. It's a small part, but that's what people seem to get focused on is the logo. There's a whole strategy and marketing plan behind this. We also have a city logo in the middle, and it's white and green. And in the middle of that center section is a cottonwood leaf. And I had somebody write me an email and said, it looks obscene. And I'm like, I don't get it, but that's somebody else's perspective. And then we had an Old Town logo. And what you see on my shirt is Cottonwood logo. It does not say the heart of Arizona wine country. So there's, if you were to put this on, you could put it on different in vehicles and however you wanted to do it. But it doesn't have to say the heart of Arizona wine country, even though I still think we are the heart of Arizona wine country. We are in the center of the state. We are surrounded by vineyards and wineries all around us. And I don't really necessarily like to compare it to Napa, California, because it's a whole different ballgame in California. But Napa doesn't have a whole lot of wineries within its town. It doesn't have tons of tasting rooms. It doesn't have vineyards in it. But when you think of California wine area, people always think of Napa. But you could go to, I mean, I've been through California. I've seen the impact of the wine industry in California. You can drive for hours and be going through vineyards. So I think it's very similar to what we have going here. I'm not going to say we're Napa, but we are surrounded by vineyards and wineries. They may not be right in Cottonwood, but we are in the center of the state. We're the center of this wine region that we are calling the Arizona wine region, heart of Arizona wine country. And this is what we came up with based on our last conversation. In summary, the brand is much more than a logo. When done correctly, branding and marketing is an investment, not an expense. These brand guidelines set an agreed upon tone and direction for Cottonwood leadership. What kind of community Cottonwood wants to be known as, and the tone and aesthetic with which it is best with which it will best present itself. At the core, the city is trying to build and present itself as a premier destination for all of its audiences, tourists, businesses, and residents alike. If you say you are a premier destination, clearly that is what people will expect you expect to see once they arrive. So that concludes my presentation. I've got a couple folks that we couldn't fit out here that I want to bring out to discuss their perspective on this too. And the first person, Giuliano, if you could come out. Giuliano is with an organization called Arizona Culture. Arizona Culture is the group that put together that This is Cottonwood video. And Giuliano wrote the grant to bring the money to the table so we could put this video together. And this is Warren, and he's also with Arizona Culture, so take it away.
First of all, I just want to tell you guys how fortunate you are to have somebody like Casey to be your champion for economic development. If it were not for him, this branding video would not even be in existence. But as far as getting to the topic of the discussion, which is branding and why branding would be so important, and I actually got to see the two choices that were presented before there was ever a choice made for one versus the other. And I actually like the new brand a lot. I live in Phoenix. If I were to pick the other brand, what I would think of right away is that this is an agricultural sort of area. That would be the first thing that would possibly come to my mind if there's a tree and a river. It's not necessarily very clear to me what the message in that specific symbol would be. And the symbol that you guys ultimately chose, which is why I think you chose it and why I think it is a good symbol, is that even though it does have wine in it, wine is what has created what you have here now. When you're coming here from another place, or you're trying to create cultural tourism, which is what we do, I'm a creative placemaker by choice. And when I say creative placemaking, that means we use arts and culture to drive economic development in areas. So it's really important that when we are talking about branding and we're talking about a community, there has to be a strong image. We had a hard time actually getting participation for people because people didn't understand what Cottonwood was. They will now that they see the video. But if you look at a brand and a symbol, it has to say a lot about the community right away to somebody. When you look at strong brands, they're typically very, very simple. If you have too much in that brand, people get confused. They don't understand what it is that they're looking at. And while I do understand the importance of, possibly saying, okay, the river's important, the trees are important, is that bringing you tourism? Is that what, what are the things that are...
Excuse me, could we please respect the speaker, because when you choose to speak, we'll respect you too. Thank you.
I do believe, yes, some of that brings you some of your tourism. I won't say that there's not that active part, and we definitely in our video tried to show every single aspect of Cottonwood that we felt was something that would be an important selling point to somebody who didn't know what Cottonwood was. But certainly wine has started something here that wasn't here before, has created an economy that wasn't here before. I was here 8 years ago with my daughter for her birthday. We did the Verde Canyon Railway and we did Blazin' M. Old Town Cottonwood was nothing. There wasn't anything here. And when I got asked to come up here and look at the city of Cottonwood to write the grant, my first impression was, Cottonwood? Really? What's in Cottonwood? And when I came up here and I met with Casey and I saw everything that was here, I thought, wow, they really have something that we can sell to the Phoenicians and to people who are coming in from out of the state, because there's so much here to do. We didn't just stop with the wine. As you can tell, we went all over and we tried to make sure that every aspect of the city of Cottonwood was included. And the brand that you've picked really does reflect that. You don't have to have every single aspect of...
Excuse me. Please respect the speaker. Thank you.
I know that I'm coming from outside the community. I know that I can't speak for the people that live in the community, but I can speak for somebody that comes to visit the community. And, you know, if you're interested in knowing what, you know, people who don't know what Cottonwood is and what their impression is, I think it's important to see our perspective from that perspective.
You're getting the hook.
Okay. Send somebody else.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Next, I've got Mr. Tom Pitts. Tom Pitts was very involved in the wine industry here in the Verde Valley from the very beginning, and he brings his own perspective about wine, the impact of the wine industry. So I'm hoping Tom might address that topic.
Well, I see you let anyone speak to this. Sorry.
Tom, you can keep it to about 5 minutes.
Oh, shoot, I'm done. Madam Mayor, Council, citizens and staff, I'm delighted to be here. There have been some major changes in the area, and I've spoken with most of you at one time or another, worked with most of you on various projects. For those of you who don't know me, I've been heavily involved in promoting the Verde Valley and the region for quite some time. I was one of the founding board members for VV Rio, our regional economic development group. I still sit on that board. I wrote their bylaws and so on. I am still the immediate past president of the Jerome Chamber of Commerce and still an active participant in the Sedona Verde Valley Tourism Council. So among other things, in 2012 I was named the tourism champion of the Verde Valley, something I'm very proud of, for promoting the entire region. I was also named by the college and the college foundation the Innovator of the Year for developing programs that help develop the college and bring more attention to what's happening in the area. In 2006, we changed the law in Arizona and made it legal to be able to make and sell wine the way we do it today. Up until that time, and a lot of people don't know this, it had been illegal in Arizona since 1915. Prohibition in Arizona preceded the federal prohibition, and there were huge restrictions on what you could do. Finally, the law changed in 2006, and it became possible for these wineries and so on to start doing business the way they do today. In 2008, we had a meeting here in Cottonwood. The original agenda was actually written on CEDC stationery. Casey Rooney chaired the first meeting with Doug's support and others. We took a look around the area and with VV Rio, our Regional Economic Development Group, and saw this new burgeoning industry and said, well, what can we do to help? We called a meeting. We thought we'd get maybe 10 people to show up. We had 40 people show up at the first meeting. None of them were there for free wine. They all wanted to find out, how do we build an industry? How do we make something happen? And our first thought was, oh, God, we're going to have to meet again because all these people showed up. Second meeting, we formed 4 committees, and we put together a sustainability, a marketing, an education, and a legislative committee to try to help people understand what this new industry was and how it worked. And in particular, I chaired the legislative committee throughout the history of the group up until early this year, and worked with a number of people to show how the governor signing a bill in 2006 would ultimately affect staff on the city and county and other levels to figure out, how do we do this? How do we make this thing work? In 2009, and we had started working immediately with Yavapai College. In 2009, we taught our first course on campus. I was the second instructor in the program, I'm proud to say. And in 2010, we planted our first acre of grapes on campus. We now have 10 acres. We now have a complete program at the college for developing workforce and bringing together data and research to help this industry grow. Also, in 2009, I approached the University of Arizona, and I said, I think we need to find out how this industry is doing here. We need an economic impact study. We were able to finally put that together with data primarily from 2010, and it showed from 0 in 2006, when they changed the law, to 4 years later, we were providing almost $25 million worth of economic impact on the state of Arizona from the Verde Valley. We'd created 124 jobs. The industry had done all kinds of interesting things. Most of us have worked with the wine industry one way or another, but they're little things sometimes. Over $80,000 of contributions to local nonprofits to help them put events and raise funds and so on, to help put events together. In 2010, I had approached the Arizona Office of Tourism to talk about the impact that was happening here with tourism. I got them to take a look and realized a lot of people are coming to these tasting rooms. So we had the wine industry here named a destination driver, which in the tourism language in the state means the attraction that's bringing people to your area. And they looked here and they said, you know, they are coming. And so they made us a destination driver. I won't say with the same impact, but that's the same level as the Grand Canyon and Verde Canyon Railroad and a number of other people. So I went back to them and I said, okay, let's see how much. So we put a grant together and we brought in NAU and we did an economic impact study that was published in 2011. We unveiled it at the Governor's Tourism Conference in July of 2011. And it showed in the Verde Valley, we were generating over $30 million in tourism impact. We had created 405 jobs. We're paying over $6 million in state and local taxes. It was a pretty strong statement to make, especially in the face of what the economy was at that point. Casey mentioned in 2013 we were named a top 10 tourist destination in the United States, and it was based on the wine industry. It wasn't based on the Red Rocks. It wasn't based on any of the rest of it. It was based on the wine industry. Now, I'm not a citizen of Cottonwood. I actually live in Camp Verde at the moment, but I've been a citizen of the Verde Valley for the past 10 years. I'm happy to say I was the founding president and chairman of the board of the Verde Valley Wine Consortium. And so we've worked hard with people here to try to get that message out. When we did those impact studies, we printed them up, and I hand carried them down to the governor's office, to the president of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, the Commerce Authority, these other agencies around the state.
So I'm going to get the hook.
I'm going to get it the hook?
Yep.
If you'd like.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
So we appreciate the data on that study, Tom, and that was a pretty important study that did show a lot of information about the industry.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
You know, I also want to, as I'm listening to people talking, I'm thinking that there might be people in the audience that think, geez, we're doing nothing but focusing on the wine industry. That just happened to be one of the focus areas in our 5-year economic development strategy we started in 2009. We're going to do another economic development strategy starting here next week. We're going to have our first kickoff meeting, and there may be a whole different list of categories that we're going to approach and work on in terms of having a balanced economy. Next, I've got Barbara Predmore from Alcantara. Barbara, come on up. Watch your step.
Mayor, council people, citizens, and all. My name's Barbara Predmore. I am the owner of Alcantara Vineyards. Started in 2004 when we bought the property. For those of you who don't know where Alcantara is, we're right at Old Chief's Crossing. We're right at the confluence of the last two flowing rivers that come together and flow all the way down to Phoenix. So branding and everything is important to me as a person. I've always been known as the farmer. For up to a couple years ago, I had the largest vineyards. I plant it. I grow the grapes. We have the most estate wines in central and northern Arizona. Part of my commitment is that I am a farmer. I am with the Farm Bureau. I'm in charge of specialty crops in Yavapai County. I'm also part of Central and Northern Arizona, AWGA, Arizona Wine Growers Association. When we look at what Casey is doing and what has happened here, let's go back to what got me into this industry. Why did I pick the Verde Valley? I mean, there were a lot of people down south that wanted me to go down there. Family came from Paso Robles, California. Paso Robles, California, when you think of Paso Robles, you think of, for those in California, a wine region. It's known as a wine region through association. There are vineyards down in San Luis Obispo, Atascadero, all those communities around. But they're focused on one place. What does you look at Napa, again, association. You've got Sonoma, you've got all the different wine regions there. It is association. They focus on one place. I've always said, and no, I am not a part right now of Cottonwood. There's different things going on, but I use Cottonwood as my address because there's no place known as the Verde Valley. When you look at this kind of branding thing, and what does wine industry do? It's really farmers. When you're talking about this thing, I know people sit there and say, wine, wine, wine. Well, we can whine a lot about a lot of different things. But it really is families growing grapes. It's agriculture. It represents community. You look at these wine regions, and if you can get the Cottonwood as the heart of wine country, why are we really fighting that? Because it puts a focus on things, and wine country is known as small business. It's family, it's community, it's people trying to show their own personality in doing different things. My wine is different than Eric's in Page Springs. We all have our own way of looking at things. Mine is the land's important, the community's important, our involvement with our future generations, creating those jobs that allow them the ability to become anything that they want to. When you look at wine country, Napa's an hour and a half away from San Francisco. It's a place that a lot of people would like to live in because of their culture. It's not just drinking the wine. It's viewed as a place that it's got art, music. It allows people to feel, use their senses in going. I think if Cottonwood is the heart of Arizona, and when I looked for a place to put my vineyards, it was central and northern Arizona. When I was shown the place I'm at, and it's quite a special place, and we continue to try to drive that home, that it is a special place and everything else like that.
So how much money do you have invested?
Over $2 million, and that's $2 million in the ground. And saying that, you know, I'm making a lot of money. My husband asks me daily, and a lot of you guys know Bob and everything. My poor husband, he's in the high-tech industry. This was not his dream. It's my dream. It's how you give back. It's what you want to be and what you want to leave as a legacy. And I think if you have the ability to say you're the heart of Arizona, yeah, because or heart of wine country, it's still heart. And that's who you are. So anyway, I know I can talk forever.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
I have two more people, and then in 10 minutes from now we'll be done. But I've got Kimber Lanning. Come on out, Kimber. Kimber is the president and CEO of Local First Arizona, and I'll let Kimber tell you a little bit about Local First.
Great. Thank you, Casey. Mayor, members of the council, thank you for having us here this evening. I'm the executive director of the Arizona Rural Development Council, in addition to being the executive director of Local First Arizona. In the capacity of the Rural Development Council, we have a strong presence in 23 rural communities around Arizona. And we just hosted the Rural Policy Forum in Globe, Miami, where we brought together about 220 people from around the state to focus on rural issues, sharing best practices. And I would like to share with you that in numerous conversations, we had people from every county there in Globe, Miami.
Excuse me.
She was just asking where the bathroom was, and I apologize.
Okay. There's a restroom. You can use this.
So in numerous conversations at the Rural Policy Forum, I will share with you that Cottonwood was held up as a shining example of what a successful community looks like, largely because they this community put together big projects and small projects, brought together the old Cottonwood and the new Cottonwood, and you're blending in a way that you're going forward into new territory. And there are tons of rural communities that are envious of what you have here in this region. There is a tremendous buzz going on around what you have built here in the Old Town area with the tasting rooms and the wine region. But I'd also like to point out that you have brought in higher education. You have focused on tourism as a piece of your economic development strategy. And I want to just remind everyone that focusing on tourism as part of your economic development strategy does not necessarily equate to an increase in your population. It does not necessarily increase your congestion. You are doing it successfully, and from the outside, people from around the state, around the country, and now even around the world are watching what is happening here in Cottonwood. The international wine community is paying attention to the wines that are coming from this region. They are winning top-notch awards, and you're getting recognition for that, and people are appreciating the way you are tastefully moving this forward in through your community. So I think that you're poised right now with a very unique opportunity. One of the areas that we work on in our organization is youth retention and thinking about what the next generation wants. What sort of communities will the next generation want to live in? And we know nationally that rural communities are diminishing. People are moving to the big city because young people are saying that rural towns don't have what they want. This is a community that can say the opposite. This is a community that is starting to hang on to its youth, that has the opportunity to educate its youth. And I also want to point out, I've heard numerous people point out that the wine industry brings low-wage jobs, that all of your Old Town brings low-wage jobs. Anyone who believes that doesn't really understand that the economy is an ecosystem. And so it's not just about those jobs on the street, but the entire ecosystem of jobs around them, like accountants, graphic designers, web developers, payroll service providers, et cetera, et cetera. That is what you're building here, and you're doing it in a way that is not encroaching on the traditional Cottonwood that we've all known our entire lives. Just because you have chosen to use wine in this messaging as your lure does not diminish the quality of the cottonwood trees or the rivers or the outdoors activities that you have here that you can still continue to market as well. One does not replace the other. So I ask you today to consider focusing on the future, to considering focusing on what the next generation is going to want. You have a unique opportunity here in front of you right now. And it is a window. And I don't believe it's going to be open forever because there are other regions that are vying to be the heart of Arizona wine country. This opportunity will not last. So I believe in who you are. I believe in this community, and some of you have seen me here before. I've been working in this region for a long time. I have family that lives here in the Verde Valley, my brother and my mother. And I just want to really encourage you, once again, to focus on the future. I know that each one of you stepped up to serve in this community because you wanted to help build a future for Cottonwood. No one runs on a campaign that they want to keep Cottonwood the same forever. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Kimber. Kimber also has staff working in the Verde Valley, so she's vested and invested in our community. Our final presentation tonight is from Lana Tollison, the Cottonwood Chamber of Commerce Director, CEO, and President. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, and citizens of Cottonwood. What I'm passing around to you right now is a listing of a lot of the media that Cottonwood has received, and this starts December 2013 through September 2014, and this is the wine-related media that Cottonwood has received internationally. We just came out with an article in the September issue of Phoenix Magazine that was a 16-page article that, as you can see on the No, Casey is my Vanna tonight.
Yes, pick up this magazine. It's Phoenix Magazine, a great article on wine news.
And the media value of the 16 pages in this alone was over $89,000. And what media value is if we had to pay for that advertising, it would cost us $89,000. Well, that's way beyond our budget. So we can't do that. So we have to work and get free coverage. We've also worked with the Arizona Office of Tourism. We've gotten coverage in Canada, Mexico, UK, Germany, Brazil, China. You guys have seen the wonderful video that was shown. You've heard so many people stand up here and talk about what a driver the wine industry has been for our economy. And for the Chamber of Commerce, I want to stand here and agree it has been a huge, major push. I would say at least 50% of the people who walk through the door at the visitor center ask about the wineries because we've done a good job of promoting it. I was in the meetings. We did have a long, detailed discussion when we were coming up with the tagline, what do we promote? And there were several of us, some of you sitting up there along with me, that kept saying there's so much more than just wine. We've got so many more things. When I get a call from the Arizona Office of Tourism that they're going to bring through a group of tour operators or a group of journalists, they're calling because of wine. So, you know, I cannot deny that wine has gotten us a lot of attention. It's bringing people from Phoenix up for birthday celebrations, for anniversaries, for girls' weekends. We're getting a lot of people coming here for wine. I absolutely agree. I know that the discussion tonight is on the logo. And I would not be truthful if I stood in front of you and told you that I like the logo. That's, I'll be honest, and I talked to Casey, I've talked to the mayor. I see that the tagline and the branding process is absolutely a tourism-related process. The logo, I'm not 100% sold on the fact of being a municipality logo. So, and Casey knew I was going to say that. So I'm ending the presentation with that. I wanted everyone in the audience to see that from December to September, we have received over $500,000 of media attention because of wine. So it's absolutely a driver for our economy. It's absolutely something we do need to promote, and I'll leave it at that.
So the photos that I had, can we show those? Can Matt help you? These were a couple of their banners that were used at the League of Cities and Towns conference, and they're used in other promotions.
Yes, Mayor, we did recently order banners to take to travel shows, and the main banner that will come up any moment now is, can you shrink it down tremendously? This was our visitor's guide. So our main banner that is like 8 foot tall says Cottonwood, Heart of Arizona Wine Country. This is Alcantara Vineyard. It does show a red bird that the Birding Festival and Vervno is very happy that we did include that. It's a very eye-catching brochure. People see it, and more than any brochure that we've had in the past few years, that one is literally flying off the shelf, not just because there's a bird in it, but it's very eye-catching, and we include everything around Cottonwood, around the Verde Valley. So we have one piece at the League of Cities. We were handing that out, and it's everything you need to know about Cottonwood. The next one is Outdoor Adventures, to show you what else we do promote. We have ATV rides. Now, this picture was provided by Arizona Off-Road Tours, but this is something anybody can come do. So this is what we're promoting when we go to travel shows. So there's that, and if we can go smaller. We have also kayaking the Verde River, which I did yesterday, and it was much fun. And then there's also the birding, wildlife and birding. That's one of the side banners, and then the other one is Scenic Beauty. And this picture was taken by Carrick James. He's a very famous photographer for Arizona Highways. He's been in Sunset Magazine.